Welcome to Bon Appetit Benefit, this year's Seton Academy Gala. It's one of those two. My name is Joe White. I'm your MC and sous chef for the evening. I'm also a Seton Academy dad, which apparently qualifies me to be here this evening. Bit of a stretch, but I'll roll with it. We got a great lineup ahead tonight, and it will all conclude in about an hour with a delicious dinner and dessert. The online auction is already open, so don't forget to stop by SetonGala.com. We have a premium membership to Babylon Bee, which they're hilarious over there. Marion Jewelry, which is beautiful, and his and hers Yeti mugs. Rugged? I don't know. You can register by heading to SetonGala.com/register. Please take a moment to do this, as this is how we'll be communicating with you throughout the night. I'm going to suggest that you watch us on a laptop or iPad, and then use your phone to browse auction items. I'd hate you to miss a cooking step or miss bidding on an item from using just one device. So go ahead, go get your iPad or your laptop. I'll wait. While we're waiting for everyone to sign on, I want to introduce our friends at Common Good Cocktail House. They're located in Glen Ellen. This group specializes in creating and serving their own unique cocktails. And these days, as you may have noticed from your cocktail kit, they are perfecting the art of cocktails to go. Enjoy.
Thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. This is Chad Hauge from Common Good Cocktail House. We are thrilled to be participating with this gala in support of this school, and our contribution is going to be one of my favorite cocktails to drink in this sort of late winter, early spring transitional weather, especially here in the Chicagoland area. And the inspiration for this cocktail dates all the way back to 1850. The New York Sour is going to be the inspiration for it. To do this particular version of a New York Sour, I had to make a special syrup for it, and this is how I made it. Okay, so I wanted to show you how we make the syrup for this cocktail. Like I said in the intro, this is going to be a riff off of a New York Sour. Dates back to the New York Hotel in Paris, circa 1850, and that cocktail being a whiskey sour, sort of with a dry red wine float on top. We are making more of a late winter version of that and emphasizing the red wine a little bit more. And so the way we are doing that is I've heated this pot up. I've crushed up some a blend of spices that are like kind of late wintry. So there's juniper berries, peppercorn, and then some like nice winter spices. So like lightly crushed cinnamon sticks, star anise, as well as some clove, and you can kind of see it in there. Yeah. So I'm going to take this and I pour it in there, and you can see already it's kind of like smoking up, and the goal here is I'm just trying to aromatize it. You want it to sort of start smelling like potpourri a little bit. And you can tell the induction burner does not like it when I lift that up at all. And I'm sort of letting that just start to release its aromas. At that point, I'm going to hit it with red wine. The red wine here is a 2017 Racine Minervois, and this is going to act as what the water normally would be in the syrup. It's beautiful. All right, so now we've got those spices steeping in the red wine. I'm going to add the sugar element. So if I were just making like a simple syrup at home, I would be doing equal parts just refined sugar and water. In this case, I'm using a turbinado sugar or raw sugar, and that's just going to be sugar in the raw. I'm doing it at equal parts by volume with the wine while it steeps with the spices. Okay. Shake that up a bit, and it's already basically integrated into the wine there. I'm going to turn this down to simmer, and we're just going to let that go for about 5 minutes. So now that we have the syrup, which is right here, I'll walk you through how we make the rest of it. So we're going to start with a base of our own private barreling of Larceny. This is a wheated bourbon out of Heaven Hill. and we got actually one of the last single barrels that they ever did with it. So I'm using 2 full ounces of this as the base. I'm going to take this spiced red wine concentrated syrup. I'm going to add this at 3/4 ounce. I'm going to take freshly squeezed lemon juice and do 3/4 ounce of that. Classically with this cocktail, you'd see it more at a 2 to 1 to 1 ratio with a float of red wine, but we're feeling a little bit frisky today for this gala. I'm going to add ice to that, and I'm using somewhat large ice cubes to get a good amount of surface area actually breaking up this cocktail. All right, so our goal here with this cocktail was to integrate about 1.5 ounces of water into that so that these bottles that you have in front of you should taste exactly like what I'm making here now. I'm gonna be double straining it into this old-fashioned glass over ice. So at home, that's how you can serve it yourself if you'd like. And notice how it has that nice color coming from the red wine that we used, the Minervois. And there we have it. This is just a little twist on a New York sour, the Seton Academy Gala. Cheers, everyone. I hope you enjoy these cocktails as much as we do.
A huge thank you to Common Good for putting together a specialty cocktail just for this event. How cool is that? They also donated their labor, so thank you to Common Good for all of that. If you're just tuning in, I'm going to suggest that you watch me on a laptop or iPad and then use your phone to browse auction items. I'd hate to lose you if you're trying to do both on just one device. Over at the auction, we've got a Costco gift card, a Hermosa swimwear package offering classic swimwear for women and girls, and Marion-themed table linens from Lovely Lady Linens. Try saying that 3 times fast. You can register by heading to setongala.com/register. Please take a moment to do this, as this is how we'll be communicating with you throughout the night. Before we get started with the cooking, please take a moment to unpack your food kit and get all the necessary tools ready. These are noted at the top of your recipe card. Large skillet, medium saucepan, whisk, mixing bowl, 2 wooden spoons or something similar. If you're cooking with more than one kit, you can just use larger pans. We'll be back in just a moment after take a few minutes to remember who this night is all about: the fabulous kids of Seton Academy.
And I will be reciting How Doth the Little Crocodile by Lewis Carroll. How doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail? He pours the waters of the Nile on every golden scale. How cheerfully he seems to grin, how neatly spreads his claws, and welcomes little fishes in with gently smiling jaws.
I think the distinctive thing about Seton is that we are a Montessori Catholic school. And I remember when my children were little, you couldn't have both. There was only Montessori, and it was either that or Catholic school.
My favorite part of school is recess and math.
I'm Sarah, and my favorite part of the day is art and recess too. My favorite thing about Seton Academy is art and music.
Hi, my name is Maggie, and I love Seton because I like to do projects a lot.
My name is Liz, and what I liked about the day was that I got to do spectrum math, and I want to move on to spectrum math 3.
I like Seton Academy because I get to do reports like this one. I like Seton Academy because of recess, and I like making maps.
I love Seton Academy because all the people are so nice, and the teachers are the most awesome teachers in the world.
Welcome back again to the Bon Appetit benefit, the 2021 Seton Academy Gala. My name is Joe White, your MC and sous chef for the evening. In just a bit, I'll be welcoming Chef Patrick Cassata, and later on in the evening, we'll be joined by Deacon Dave Mahoney to help us conclude. Our event tonight is to raise money for Seton Academy, a Catholic Montessori school in Chicago's western suburbs, for children ages 3 to 12. Seton Academy is now in its 42nd year, which is no small feat for a school that was started by parents and continues to be run as such today. The small group of parents that founded the school were looking for an education that was more faith and child-focused than the traditional classroom. After much research, they found that the Montessori method fit this need beautifully. Seton Academy, along with the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, continue to be faith and child-focused, and as a father of 3 Seton Academy students, I am most grateful. And one last time, I need to quickly remind you to please register by heading to setongala.com/register. This allows you to bid on auction items, and also it'll allow us to communicate with you throughout the evening. It's now my pleasure to introduce Chef Patrick Cassata. He's the executive chef for the Standard Market of Westmont, Illinois, which contains 2 made-from-scratch markets, as well as 4 restaurants. With over 30 years of culinary experience, Chef Cassata was part of season 10 cast of Fox's Hell's Kitchen and is a Food Network Cutthroat Kitchen champion. Finding and sustaining local food is his culinary passion. Chef Cassata specializes in working closely with the Illinois farming community to bring Illinois produce and proteins into restaurants. Welcome, Chef.
Great to be here. Thanks for that warm introduction.
Oh, thank you.
to say the
Thank
least.
you. Yes, no, I appreciate it. So why don't we start with, it looks like you have everything set up.
Yeah, so this is what you would term mise en place,
Okay.
which means in culinary terms, I say you got your mise, which means is everything in its place. So you've got your kits, and the important thing to do is to kind of separate everything out. I'll just move the vino here. That's for later. So right now I kind of have the kit here. We're going to prep everything. You've already got it prepped for yourselves, but we're going to go through some cutting techniques and things like that. But this is the main kit, the beef bourguignon, and then over here I have the polenta kit. So you're going to want to keep these 2 separate. You've got the polenta kit, came in its own little thing. Just have it ready. The one thing too you want to get going is we have the 2 1/4 cups of water simmering right now. We're going to kick that up a little bit as we get going. Cool. To get the polenta going. So we're kind of doing a little duality right here on what we're going to do. But
so if people need, they should have what pan is that?
So, sorry, I don't want to. So that's our little stock pot over there, a little 2-quart saucepans.
Cool. So they should just get that water.
Yeah, just get that water warming
Okay.
and
Cool.
heating up, and we'll add everything as we go through once we get close to the end of this, because that'll take about 10 minutes to get the polenta done.
Cool. And so people who have the kits, like you said, theirs is already prepped.
Yeah, everything will
prepped.
be, yes.
So what they're going to see you go through is how to make it from the raw ingredients.
Yeah, we're going to do the entertaining side of the culinary adventure, and we're going to actually kind of prep some stuff and give you something visually to enjoy while you're making something. So the other thing too is don't be afraid to have the recipe available in front of you.
Yeah.
It's just a good reminder to keep it fresh, and if you want to go back, it's also a good thing to study it, much like the ACTs and the SATs and things like that. Study it a little bit, read through it a little bit. It also helps, just whenever you see a recipe, it should always be from top to bottom is your order of things and ingredients for what you're going to be making. Not everyone does that, which annoys me, but as a chef, you learn how to read a recipe knowing that the first 3 items are probably going to go together.
Cool.
Right? You're going to read through it all. So
So
you can
I see.
assemble
So it's
accordingly.
grouped by kind of what
Yeah,
steps you're doing.
most recipes that
Awesome.
people will have in cookbooks, whatever, will have that flow.
Yeah.
So you're not going back, where did the butter come from? Oh, it's
Right.
down there. Why is it down there? It should be up top. So
Right. Okay.
when you look at the recipe, you can kind of organize yourself and saying, even if you line them up in a row, you're probably going to have success if you did that.
Cool. And so we should also note that for you guys watching at home, this video, you can pause if you feel like you're falling behind or you need to catch up on a step. And you can pause it and go back earlier in the video to see a step that you missed. And then you can either go back to sort of the live broadcast of us going out or to whatever point you need to step back to. So this makes it a little bit easier.
You know, and also just the one thing that's fun about cooking is I've burned a lot of stuff. I've thrown cheesecakes against the wall because I made salt instead of sugar in the cheesecakes. I've had a lot of disasters in the kitchen, cut my finger. Just relax and enjoy the time that you're having there. You know, this is an opportunity and a blessing to actually create a memorable experience.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lion eats gazelle all day, every day. That's all they get. So we have the opportunity to have a little beef bourguignon today. We're gonna have chicken tomorrow. So relax, have fun. Don't be too, don't feel the pressure.
Yeah, don't be worried about it. It's pretty straightforward, and especially
and just
when
know a professional chef burns stuff to this day. Okay?
Good. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
That happens. Cool. So I think we can get started. So just as long as people have everything in front of them, and they've got the other utensils and things that we need. We have some wooden spoons, a whisk, a couple pans, and then we should be good to go, I think.
Yeah. Make sure you have your tools ready. You know, I always keep some towels on the ready as well as an extra spoon just in case. You don't always want to be washing stuff as you're going.
Right.
I just turned the pan up a little bit. We're going to get this hot. You should always have your pan getting warm as you're about to go.
Okay.
It really helps the searing process is what we're going to do here. So what we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to season our flour. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right,
Cool.
we're going to season our flour. So I've got the flour in there, and this is a mix that you have of salt and pepper. Okay, I have this in many different forms of seasoning salt, and be generous on the flour portion of this because you're going to, this is going to go on the beef. I'm also going to season my beef a little bit. You don't have to if you're trying to watch sodium or you don't like things salty. Chefs are always accused of being, salt addicts. But like I said, you're going to have this beef ready to go. We're going to drop it in the flour.
Cool. So why do you season the flour and the meat?
So we're going to, just because salt gets onto anything, right? And salt's main purpose is to pull moisture from, right? That's why when you have salt, good salts, they're pulling moisture, right? So what's happening is that it's actually causing saliva to produce, which then wipes your palate clean, which then allows you to taste faster. So the higher salt, the better salt content, the better the salt, the better you taste.
Cool.
So that's what salt does. So when it sits on meat, it starts to pull out the moisture, and when you sear that moisture, which contains sugars, is going to start the caramelization process, giving you that flavor you're looking for.
Killer.
So I'm just going to do a little bit of salt like that. Okay, we're going to toss. Just a light toss. You're going to have extra flour, okay? You're not going to use all this flour.
So really they're just making sure to cover all the
You're just
sides
coating
of the
this.
meat?
Yeah,
Okay.
you just want to toss around, coat it. The pan's getting hot. We're going to add our oil.
So why do you said it helps with the searing, heating the pan up early? I never do that.
So
That's
right
news to
now,
me.
if you'll notice on the pan, it's dancing. Okay,
Right.
meaning that as soon as that pan, the oil hit the hot pan, it dances around, leaves you like little pools of emptiness.
Yeah, it almost like ripple. It almost
yeah,
like
exactly.
rippling.
We call that dancing.
Okay,
that was
cool.
a good move, right?
Yeah.
So once that's dancing like that, we're going to end up putting our meat in here. You're just going to shake it off a little bit. So you're going to get a little dirty, and you can hear that. I don't know if you can hear that on the microphone, but that's the sound you want to hear. That little bit of sizzling, okay? And once we get all our meat in there, we're going to give it one little shake, and then we're going to let that sit for a minute, okay? Because we want that to caramelize.
Okay.
So that process is going to start the caramelization.
And then we don't need the rest of the flour mix for anything. That's just
we're done.
Cool.
Okay.
Do you want me to watch the meat?
Yeah. So
okay.
I got a little flour all over this. See, that's all right. That's why you have the towel on the ready.
Nice.
So Joe's gonna just take the meat. You've got a little spoon here.
Yep.
And we want to let this first turn well, before the turn, but the first set, to just sit there for a while and caramelize. That's going to really set the foundation for the flavor.
So that first sear, really let it go?
Yeah, just let this go for a little bit, and then we'll start moving around. And you kind of want to turn the meat a little bit.
Sure.
Try to get all the sides.
Right.
You don't have to be so super technical about it. That first caramelization will offer enough flavor in the dish.
The bottom
yeah, you don't need all of them to be crisp up and brown.
I'll let it sit for now, though.
Yep. So while that's sitting, we've got some bacon here. Quick tip is freeze your bacon. I didn't.
Okay.
But if you freeze your bacon, it makes it a lot easier to cut, and it just lessens the likelihood of you cutting yourself.
Oh, so it's not sliding around and stuff?
Right.
Okay.
So we're just going to chop this up. Especially because the bacon, you've got the fattiness to it, and that sometimes sticks, and it causes your knife to move. Yeah, it snags it, exactly.
And then let me know when you think I should probably first start checking these.
Yeah, I think you're good now.
I usually probably touch it too much.
Yeah, most people do, and that's why the first time you do that, you really want to just relax, listen to that sizzle, and enjoy it, because you know you're doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah, and you're starting to see, like, there's some nice brown.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, cool.
So you can kind of move it with your spoon as well.
I've got a couple of questions for you, Chef.
Shoot.
There's some that are written down. I see that we are using a wooden spoon, so I'll go to, I noticed one of the questions was there.
Yeah.
So with all the, with all the technology we have access to, how are wooden spoons still even a thing?
Well,
I feel like that's...
Yeah, well, the wooden spoon, there's a couple things. When you look at making a creme anglaise, for instance, which is a vanilla sauce, you want to actually look till it coats the back of a wooden spoon. You can't get that from a metal spoon. So as you're slowly cooking this custardy sauce, you're looking for that spoon, and then you're lifting it up, and it should form a little ribbon on the back of it. So those are like...
For that, that's an example where it specifically only works.
Yeah, and actually, and this wooden spoon won't do the same as that wooden spoon. That wooden spoon is what you want to use for looking for that creme anglaise to be finished.
Okay.
The other thing is a wooden spoon's not going to cause damage to your saute pans.
Oh, right.
You know, a metal spoon can
Yep.
scrape the bottom. A lot of these new coatings, whatever, are pretty tough, but you always risk the chance of ruining
scraping something.
The other thing, it's like anything. It just feels right in your hand.
It does.
Wood
It feels
feels
nice.
right. Metal it's good. Like tongs are great. Wooden tongs are no
Cold.
good.
It's got no soul.
Yeah, exactly.
I read it.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
So,
well, these are looking really good. As I'm just rotating them.
yeah. So while that's going, we're getting some nice color on that. We're going to add our bacon, and you want to render this off. So when you're looking at rendering bacon, you're basically wanting to take the fat and let it come out, leaving the actual flavor of the bacon and the little meat pieces to be better. They're meat pieces, which also offers you a little more fat to cook with, but also just imparts a smoky little flavor to your dish as well.
Cool.
So we're going to put that in there. I'm going to run that down. Now, this is a point where you're probably going to want to lower your pan a little bit on the heat. Okay, so when you look at that, bring that down a little bit. Yeah. This is where you have the potential for splatter. And my wife loves when I splatter the kitchen full of bacon grease, especially. But you can see it, you can start hearing it. That moisture's coming off. So in the meat, there's moisture, in the fat, there's moisture, and when it hits that pan, it gets a high heat. That's what's splattering out. So you've got this oil, like if you've ever had a fryer, and water gets in the fryer, it just goes crazy.
Yeah.
Same process that's going to happen right there. So
turn the pan down.
Yeah, just a little bit, not too much. Yeah, and just run it out. Cool. While Joe's running that, I'm going to get the vegetables going. You have some onion and some carrot we're going to throw in there. Carrot's main focus in every dish is to extract the bitterness out, which will give you a little more sweetness. This is a classic trick in marinara sauce, old school Italians. You put a whole carrot. Yeah,
puts carrot in her spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, I used to eat all the carrots from my mother-in-law's marinara, and I realized I was getting a lot of agita. And my wife's like, "You eat all those carrots? No wonder it's all the acid that's in the sauce. It's in the carrots."
Really?
Yeah, I don't advise that, although it tastes really good. I'm a big fan. Trick on carrots: instead of using a peeler, we're just going to make this into 4 sides. Okay, this can use as stock or snacks, whatever. All your fiber and nutrition is actually in the rind and in the skin of all your vegetables. We always seem to want to take it off, but that's where everything lives.
Okay.
And then we're just going to come down. You know, this is old school French techniques of brunoise carrots. So you're going to come down, you're making matchsticks, okay, like this. And everything's equal sizes, okay? And then you come through.
It looks a little bit different when I do it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's 35 years of doing this.
That probably helps.
You know, and back in the day in school, everything would get thrown out if you didn't have the right, if these weren't all uniform, they'd wipe it all in the garbage, start over.
Really?
Yeah, and that was awful. So to say the least, but. So this is your little brunoise of carrots. Okay, so you got a nice little pile right there. And then on the onions, I always make sure I have a nice flat surface. I take the sides off. On an onion, always remember you can, when it's dry and it doesn't look right, it looks more like a skin, just keep peeling off till you get it. You know, keep peeling back the layers of the onion till you get that fresh look.
Okay.
What happens is when you have that drier skin on there, it actually is chewy. You'll get that. Like,
yeah.
have you ever had an onion ring?
Yep.
And it's like, and it pulls out. Yeah, that's because they didn't cut the dryness
cut all the
off.
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
An onion dries from the outside in. So you just want to make sure you peel back off. You may not get a lot of the onion, but you're going to get a better flavor profile. And then you just come down. Now, a lot of times you want to come in here a little bit, but that's always a little risky.
Yeah.
So if you're not comfortable, don't do that. And then you just come through. All right.
The stare at the camera look while your knife is flying.
So,
I like it.
And then you have nice, beautiful onions, and they're ready to go. Okay. So if you want to do that at home, you want to throw those out and start over, go ahead. I'm all for it. You know, it takes years of practicing to get that stuff done right, but it's fun. I enjoy my knife skills.
Your guys at Standard Market, they've already done this for everyone's kits.
Yeah.
So you guys do this every day. I mean, doing all of your own, you have the 4 restaurants in there, and then you do tons of to-go meals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you guys are probably always practicing your knife skills.
Yeah, there's, well, you know, to be fair, there are some machinery that will help with dicing, certainly, like dicing red peppers. There's a couple of little things that we use that we just
speed it up.
We take the fresh bell peppers, we cut them down into segments, and then we just pop them in there, and it just speeds it up. Because when you're making, you know, 120 gallons of soup times 4,
oh my gosh.
You know, that's one guy's job every day. It's you need some
some
assistance, right?
Yeah.
So that looks awesome.
Cool.
I mean, can we just make sure that gets a beautiful shot? Because you didn't. That literally is spectacular. If everyone at home did that, we're in for a real good night.
I got a good teacher.
So we're gonna add these. If you can just grab the pan over here, I'm gonna throw these in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna add these vegetables. Then we're gonna kick that heat up a little bit because it's not as hot as it should be.
You bet.
So again, what happens is with vegetables, especially onions contain a lot of moisture, and that moisture is in sugar. So when you look at caramelized onions, you can put that back on, give it a stir, and turn that up. Onions have, when you look at caramelized onions, what happens when the onion is cooking, and especially with salt that's going to be in the pan, when the salt hits the onion, it really pulls that moisture out, and that reduces down. And that's where that caramelization comes from. So a real caramelized onion, why it gets that brown color is those sugars are releasing. And just like caramel, when you make caramel sauce, the sugar's browning and it's caramelizing and it's going back on the onion.
Cool.
So when you make French onion soup, things like that, this is a technique you always use. So once you get it in there, you put a little salt and pepper. We're not going to add that, but normally you'd add a little bit of salt to your onions, and it really pulls the moisture out and brings out that sugar flavor.
And we already had that in the flour, right? With the
you've got enough salt in there. We don't have to salt it again.
Sweet. Easy
again,
enough.
we don't want to ruin the dish.
Cool.
And then we're going to do is garlic. So I always take that little end off of garlic. Okay. And then you just want to come through with your garlic clove and you smash it. Okay. And then once you have that there, you just go pass through it once. Okay. And then you come through on the side. And this is how you mince garlic. You hold this blade down and you use the top blade, the spine of the knife, and you waddle through. Okay.
I've done the dicing part, but then that's brilliant. Cool.
Now you have, this is what you would term minced garlic.
Okay.
And again, why you mince garlic is that this is gonna you're gonna make this quick.
Yeah.
So the smaller that the garlic is, the faster it's going to impart its flavor without burning.
Okay.
So we've already got the onions going translucent.
Yep.
5 minutes on that, and then we're going to add this garlic for about a minute, and then we're going to add everything else to the dish.
Easy enough. Cool.
Doing good so far at home. I hope everybody's
I got another question for you.
Go for it.
It's coming up. Maybe people have already gone through this. What is a good Valentine dinner for your wife? And can you come over to cook it?
Second part, no. First part,
get this out of here.
you know, I've always worked Valentine's.
Oh,
so
right.
you know, it's one of those things.
Busier...
Yeah, it's one of those
Right.
things. As a lifer in this business, that's one of the days that my wife will always let you know, like, yeah, I always miss out on Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. So while you're all enjoying it with your spouses, mine's
Your
at
wife's
home.
getting leverage on you, basically.
So yeah, it's you know, it is what it is. So we've never really been a go out to dinner.
Right.
Especially like if Valentine's was on a Saturday, you'd have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That was like the best for a restaurant.
Right.
You had 4 days. If it was on a Tuesday, you're like, oh, this is terrible.
We're
Right?
not
Because you'd
getting
have
as much out
maybe
of it.
Saturday, but you wouldn't get Friday, and Friday would be dead because everyone's waiting for Tuesday to come around. So, but you know, I think it depends. I always think that you know, steak and seafood are
The
classic,
popular-
classics for a lot of people.
Surf and turf kind
or
of stuff.
even just a really good fish. You know, I'm a big fan of wild fish. I'm not a big fan of
You do a lot of
farm.
fishing and that kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah. And I love to process the fish and eat them. So we're gonna add the garlic now.
Cool.
So, but like I like wild fish, cod. I really love cod. Halibut's my wife's favorite white fish. So I'd cook her halibut to answer that
Find out what
question.
she
To
likes
finally
to
answer that
Do
question.
that. Yeah. No. I like it.
So now we've got the garlic in there.
Yes.
We're gonna add a little bit of parsley. So this is what you term flat leaf or Italian parsley. And this has a little bit better flavor than curly parsley. I also think it.
The curly parsley. That's like what back in the day they'd always
Yeah.
fancy up
It was always on the plate.
pictures and plates, right?
Yeah, and its purpose, its actual purpose was, besides making the plate look pretty, the actual purpose of it was for when you were done to actually put the parsley and eat it and refreshen your breath.
Get rid of the taste of the food.
Yeah,
you just
just
ate.
to refreshen your breath, kind of like a you know, a little intermezzo, so to speak. So
But this stuff, you like the flavor better.
yeah, I think flat leaf parsley
Flat leaf,
is
okay.
much better.
Cool.
You can use curly all you want, but this wasn't that easy to find back in the day, early 90s. This was really more of a restaurateur's kind of trick. You know, we didn't really get curly parsley.
Use
Plus,
flat.
I think you just get more out of it. So
Cool. You want me to bring the pan over?
yeah, so we're gonna add that in there real quick.
Sweet.
Voila. We're good on that. We'll give that a stir.
Sure.
And then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our liquid. So in here we've got the bourbon, we've got the red wine, we've got the beef stock, we got the bay leaf, the star anise powder, and the fresh thyme.
So people with the kits have this already put
Yep.
together.
This is ready to rock and
Anyone
roll
else
for 'em.
that's looking at the recipe would
I
want
would
to
do the same thing.
Put that.
Build
put that
this,
together.
build
Okay.
this all right into one
Cool.
little container, so you're ready to go on it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Easy enough.
So we're
And that's,
just gonna,
this is deglazing the pan. Is that right?
Oh yeah, thank you for see, that's why you have a sous chef. Yes, we're gonna deglaze this pan. So again, what's happened is that we've built fond. Okay, spelled F-O-N-D, fond. That is all of those bits of caramelization and flour stuck to the bottom of the pan.
Right.
We want to get those off. That's not burning, that's flavor.
Okay.
So we're just gonna add a little bit of water and let that simmer, and then
Cool.
mix around and stir it around and release all that.
All the stuff off the bottom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
You
cool.
want to scrape down the pan. You know, if you have a non-stick pan, you may not get as much fond, but that's a good thing because it's still there. It's just not stuck to your pan.
So it doesn't need to be a stainless steel pan or something
No,
like that. You can.
no.
Okay, cool.
No, you know, in the restaurants we don't have Teflon coated, but we
Just
also
because how often you use them, or
well, we're functioning at 35,000 BTUs, where most ranges at home are at a high end 20,000.
Right. Okay.
So we're operating at a higher BTU, which when you get a pan hot at 35,000 BTUs, it's basically becomes nonstick. It's so hot.
wow,
So
okay, cool.
yeah, it's a different world.
then home cooking.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Hey.
so we've got that done. We're just going to add our liquid to this. And then this is where we're gonna let this reduce.
Okay. Now, do we want to?
So this is gonna burn off our alcohol,
Yep.
and it's gonna we're gonna leave this high. It's
this
gonna
is
burn
high,
off the
okay,
alcohol,
okay.
and it's gonna reduce it down, and then we're gonna lower it to a simmer.
Cool.
Okay.
Sweet.
So while that's going, we've got our polenta to start.
That's right.
We're gonna get this going down to a simmer. We're gonna
Cool.
kick up the heat on that polenta
Great.
So the water that's in there, let's turn that up.
Turn that up. Sure.
All right, we'll get that nice and hot. Now, you know, polenta is basically just cornmeal. That's really
Okay.
all this is. There's fine grit polenta all the way to rough cut polenta, coarse chop they would
Okay.
call it. Either way, it's the same thing, just one cooks faster. Just like
Sweet.
grits. Grits are the same thing.
Right.
You're talking hydration on water. Okay, so
Killer.
we've got our water going there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add into, you have your little seasoning packet of the polenta. This is the salt, pepper, and cinnamon. Okay.
Cinnamon, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
cinnamon's really a southern Italian spice. They use a lot of lemon and cinnamon.
Cool.
I know we're cooking French, but we're adding a little Italian to this
I like
right
it.
now. So
I like it.
once you go ahead and throw that in there.
Sure.
The other thing is once you get
Just right into the water?
right in the water.
Cool.
And now what that's going to do too is the salt, once your water is right at the boiling point or boiling, salt actually activates the water and makes it hotter.
Oh, it
So when
immediately
you're-
jumped to...
Yeah, it jumps up.
Yeah.
And that's why when you're making pasta, you wait to the end to add your salt, which brings the temperature up higher. You throw your pasta in there, its recovery time is much quicker then, because you need that to go back up to the boil as fast as you
Gotcha.
can
Okay,
before
that
you
makes
simmer
sense.
again. So once you have that in there, this is our polenta.
Okay.
We're going to put this in slowly while we're whisking.
Okay.
That's the important thing. You don't want this to clump up. A lot of people want to just dump it in there and they try to catch up real quick. You won't. It'll be clumpy.
Okay.
It'll be gritty and you'll have chunks in there. So when you're going in there, just drizzle it
Really
in
slow.
and whisk it around.
Okay.
Back in the day, we had to go like this and do
Oh,
it.
geez.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I work for
Was that another, like, chef?
Yeah, it was militant
requirement?
chef stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And you learn to regress those things. But why don't you go ahead and do that,
we'll
and
do
we'll get the polenta rolling. If you wanted to, you could add milk to this. You could do a half milk, half water. You can also add other cheese in there, like mascarpone, goat's cheese are also really, really good in there.
yum.
We're gonna add butter and the pecorino romano. Parmesan is also really good in there. You won't really see that; it just kind of blends in there, but you'll taste it and the creaminess that comes out with the butter.
Cool.
So you can just keep adding it all in
Just
as
keep
you
going?
go.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep going the whole time. Just keep whisking and adding it at the same time until it's fully incorporated. And then we're gonna bring that to a boil and then simmer that back down again, and really let the cornmeal cook and soften up. So it's just like pasta; it's absorbing the water and the moisture and cooking the grain.
All
We're all
so
good?
Just as long as you're...
We're just gonna throw all in there right now. That
Cool.
you got that going, you can go
Yeah.
right like that.
Oh, yeah, sticking
Yeah.
it up. Okay.
We're gonna lower this down to a simmer.
All right. And then should this stay high or go
And
down
once you
low?
got it going like that, no, let's lower that down to a simmer.
All right, cool.
And we're almost there. We're almost to the end, and I mean you can smell. It smells awesome.
Smells
I'm sure
awesome.
your kitchens are just awesome right now, and that's one of the beauty things as a chef. You know, you the sights, the smells, the tastes.
Yeah.
Not so much the sounds, but everything else. There is the sound, the clanking of the plates and stuff like that. I fell in love with the kitchen a long time. The other thing is, once you get to that point, you're mixing. Use the
Yeah.
wooden spoon,
Oh,
and you can
perfect.
start to incorporate that. So. Yep,
is that-
you got that. It's a little clumpy right now, but again, we're going to add the butter and the cheese
Okay.
in just a few minutes.
All right, cool. So, while we've got a couple minutes,
I'll take this.
why don't we take this opportunity to learn a little bit more about Seton Academy? Then we'll see you back in a couple. Thanks.
Hi, Mary. Good morning. Come right in. It's warm inside.
Jesus sang, "Come unto me and rest. Lay down, O weary one, lay down."
When you walk into any Montessori classroom, but especially across them at Seton, you're really struck by the peacefulness and the silence, especially the silence.
We started our two oldest actually at an existing Montessori school. They were busy but well behaved. They were actually working.
So you take 50. You take 50.
We had friends and relatives, other young parents who were also looking for good education for their children, and a group of us got together and started this idea, maybe we need to start our own school. We always had a prayer, Lord, if this is not your will, please let it fail. And so far, he hasn't.
And to Hector he appealed, saying, Sarpedon was the noblest of your allies. Help me now to avenge his loss.
There's this real independence that takes place in the classroom. You might have someone that spends 2 weeks doing something in social studies because they're super passionate about it. You might have another student that takes 4 weeks in that same subject, maybe because they're struggling with it.
Okay, here, you're gonna write first.
Because everyone is absorbing at their own rate, the child will be at peace over the work they're doing.
Work isn't drudgery in the Montessori classroom. It's intriguing, it's fun, it's challenging. In the Montessori classroom, the child is the active learner. The teacher is more of a guide who leads the child to the materials. With these materials, the children teach themselves, and they make discoveries on their own.
As a parent, you don't have to micromanage every single thing your child is doing. Whatever they're doing, it's going to be done well. One of the things they do is they prepare their snack every day. They iron the napkins, and then they set this beautiful table.
But I have the pencils.
I appreciate that they're empowering the kids and really building the self-confidence.
The emphasis on beauty and hospitality is very great in the Montessori classroom, and it means a lot to the children. They go home and they provide that for their parents. They might set the table beautifully and go look for a flower to put in the middle of the table. Learning to know God, to have a personal relationship with Jesus, those are all achieved through the work that they do. Everything we do is a gift to God.
Particularly for little children, Montessori observed that they are born in love with God, and that our responsibility is to nurture that.
Surely Christ dwells with them. Gratitude for all of your gifts.
Catechesis of the Good Shepherd uses scripture and liturgical texts. Our job is to present those words without inserting ourselves as a teacher, because Christ is the only teacher.
What is this city?
These little children, they are so close to the Good Shepherd already. When they hear the words, they know that he's speaking to them.
Jesus is nailed to the cross. Jesus dies on the cross.
Seton became much more than just a school for our children. It became a real apostolate to families.
We came to Syria knowing 0 people. They were beyond welcoming. There's not a single school out there that's like Seton.
There's a story that John Paul II visited a Montessori school in Rome one day, and he stopped at a doorway of a classroom and ended up spending 30 minutes watching the children. And as he walked away, he turned to the person he was with and said, "That was the greatest homily I have ever heard." And of course, there was no words.
Sea of Galilee, and there are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee. There are hands on the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee, and there are fish in the nets in the hands of the men in the boat in the Sea of Galilee.
Hello, I'm Sarah Birch.
And I'm Megan Himrick.
We are the Administrative Council at Seton Academy, and we're both mothers of current students and catechists.
Thank you for joining us tonight for our annual gala. We are so glad you are here.
Seton Academy has been a great blessing for our families and for our children, providing a place where they can be educated in every aspect of their being, in all the richness and beauty of the Catholic faith. And from its founding more than 40 years ago, Seton has relied on generous donors to continue this work. This annual gala is our biggest fundraiser and raises the crucial funds that we need to provide tuition assistance to families. Pope Benedict called Catholic schools an apostolate of hope and said, everything possible must be done in cooperation with the wider community to ensure that they are accessible to people of all social and economic strata. No child should be denied his or her right to an education in faith, which in turn nurtures the soul of a nation. You are that wider community. So tonight, we're asking you to give generously. It really is the responsibility of the whole community, the whole church, to sustain Catholic schools. Whether you have children or not, or whether your children are at Seton or other schools or grown. When you donate to Seton Academy, you are doing something concrete to build up the church, and as Pope Benedict said, to nurture the soul of a nation. Because we are a small school, each and every one of our donors is important, and every single dollar you give is valuable to us. This year especially, when times are hard for everyone, we ask you to give and to pray for Seton, and we thank you for your support. It's easy to give. If you sign up on our website, you should receive a text that you can just reply to, specifying the amount you'd like to donate. You can also go to setongala.com and make a donation there, as well as bid on our auction and buy raffle tickets.
Thank you again for your prayers and your support of our school. We pray that you see the fruit of your support in the students that come from Seton. Your donation is the flame that keeps Seton alive, and we hope our kids become the fire from that flame that sets the world ablaze with deep truth, well-formed minds, just hearts, and the love of Christ.
Thank you, and enjoy the rest of our gala. God bless you.
Cheers!
Welcome back. As we near dinner, I just want to give a quick reminder that you can make donations, purchase Split the Pot tickets, and continue bidding on auction items by heading to setongala.com. While you're away, Deacon Dave Mahoney came by to help us finish up. Deacon Dave is at Sacred Heart in Lombard and has a daughter at Seton Academy.
And of course, I've come for the food and the drink.
Sure. That's right. You're welcome, Dave. So we're going to finish this dish real quick.
Awesome.
I'm sure everyone's ready to go. What we're going to do is we got the polenta going. We're going to add the butter right to the dish. If you want to just give that a quick stir with that butter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once that butter is fully incorporated and melted, we're going to add our cheese. So we're going to just keep that going.
Yeah.
Get that around. That should really loosen up your polenta.
Yeah.
And then over here, we've got the one thing we want to do on the bourguignon right now is we want to take the bay leaf out. Nobody wants to eat that. It's done its part. It needs to go. Okay, so we've got our bourguignon ready to go. It's been reducing beautifully. And again, you want it to have, a certain amount of liquid, but not too much. It's not a stew. This sauce is what you're looking for. So you've got this beautiful glazed look to the meat, and you got a nice amount of sauce in there. And how's that butter going? Good to go?
It's good. Yeah, I think
we're going to add our cheese into that right now. Cool. And again, you can add more if you wanted to. Again, you could add cream cheese, you could add mascarpone cheese, goat's cheese, anything you want. Polenta can also be refrigerated. Wait till the next day, and then you can have it and cut it into squares or triangles, and you could saute it, you could bake it, you could grill it.
Oh, yum.
So it's got a lot of other purposes. That was one of the tricks we used to do way back in the day, too, to kind of like on vegetable plates, vegetarian plates, we'd have this grilled polenta on the side. So.
Oh, cool.
Okay, at this point, we're going to want to add the sauteed mushrooms and the pearl onions back into the dish, and then we're going to finish it off with a touch of lemon. Let's get ready to eat. I think we're good to go, right?
Yeah, this looks good.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this from you real quick.
Sweet.
Because professional plating is what I do the best.
Do we need to do anything to the beef or
no?
not?
It's good to go. I turned it off. So
cool.
We're going to put nice dollop of polenta down on your plate. Okay?
That's a dollop?
That's a dollop.
That's a good dollop.
That's a Chicago dollop.
Yeah, that's right.
So there's our dollop. Quite large, but it's good to go. And then we're going to add our bourguignon to this, okay? So what you really want to do is you want to, first of all, is put one ladle of each on each plate, okay? Dimple it out right there, put a little dimple. That rests the meat, okay? So dimple that again. and you rest the meat.
Man.
And now that you got that,
Smells incredible.
Smells awesome.
you can come around and kind of just finish it off. Okay. So there's our finished dish. Okay.
That looks
With this, we've
fantastic.
got a Lulumi. It's a French Pinot Noir.
Okay.
The French actually on wine bottles always go by appellation or region.
Okay.
So it's called Burgundy, which is normally Pinot Noir or Chardonnay.
Yeah.
Once they start going single designate, they're just saying that this is the grape.
Okay.
They can't call it Burgundy because it's not from Burgundy.
Gotcha.
This wine, if you've purchased it, this is a wonderful velvety wine. It's got a smooth texture and finish, a lot of nice black fruits, fresh black fruits, and some intense strawberry. It'll match perfectly with the Bourguignon. We're going to pour this out real quick. And Dave, I think you have something for us, right?
How about some grace?
There we go.
You know, this is the kind of thing that just reminds me and makes me so grateful for being Catholic. Yeah. It's just the smells, the bells, the sounds, and the passion. Quite honestly, your passion and your lack of guile is just awesome. I truly appreciate what you guys have brought. You've brought something that, we're not in the presence of each other, but over food, we come into communion, right?
Yeah.
Which is so awesome. And you guys have given us such a gift. Pat, you are utterly generous. And Joe, just your innocence and your, you're asking every question all of us want to know. So thank you so much. So I just want to take a second in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. And let's ask our Lord to give us the strength in our hearts, our souls, and our minds to love, that we may live hard, we may eat and drink well, we may forgive often and love always. And together we pray, bless us, O Lord, in these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. Thanks be to God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
As the French would say, je suis oui. Let's see.
Dude, this looks killer.
This is great.
Go at it, guys.
Sweet.
Some of that wine.
I'm going to try a little dollop.
A little dollop. Mini dollop?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's killer.
Oh, that's really good.
When
you get some of that wine with that, too. That matches really nice.
I hope mine is this good tonight. Very good,
That's
guys.
fantastic, man. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy everyone at home. Thank you for watching.
Killer. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for sharing the evening with us. Thank you, Chef Patrick. Last call for Split the Pot is 7:30 Central Standard Time, and auction closes at 8 Central Standard Time. Donations are always appreciated and hugely, hugely appreciated. All found at setongala.com. Thank you again for joining us, for your generosity, and God bless you. Bon appetit. Good night.
Good night.
Man, this is killer.